Good evening. RENEWS English section is on air. I'm Sona Tumanian. We continue to cut through the noise and bring you news from Armenia and all around the world with balanced reporting, expert analysis and diverse perspectives. Join us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X. Get your portion of information from our official website, recipient.media. Curfew in Los Angeles, protests erupt over federal immigration raids. Arrests made, damage reported, and Mayor Ross urges Trump to call off ICE operations. On Capitol Hill, Speaker Mike Johnson targets Governor Newsom with fiery remarks over the unrest, and Elon Musk walking back harsh words about Trump after a heated crash over federal funding. Full story right after this.
Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass and Police Chief Jim McDonnell have declared a curfew in certain parts of the city center amid protests against immigration service raids. It will last for several days from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. Arrests have already been made for violating the curfew. The city has suffered significant damage, Karen Bass reported, and she called on President Donald Trump to stop the Immigration and Customs Service roundups against illegal immigrants. She said she's trying to contact Trump to discuss the issue, but so far to no avail. U.S. House Speaker Mike Johnson has called for California Governor Gavin Newsom to be, and I quote, tarred and feathered as punishment for his behavior during the Los Angeles protests. Johnson did not insist that Newsom should be arrested, as President Donald Trump had suggested, but stressed that Newsom is complicit in the attack on law enforcement officers. Elon Musk wrote that he regrets some of his posts about Trump. They went too far, the billionaire admitted. Trump and Musk had publicly argued over the topic of the draft budget. Musk had called the head of the White House a liar and noted that without him, Trump would not have won the election. Trump had responded that his former supporter has gone crazy and suggested that Musk's companies should no longer receive government subsidies and contracts. Representatives for the leader of the superpower and the richest man on the planet had attempted to reconcile them.
California Governor Gavin Newsom thanked protesters who took to the streets of Los Angeles peacefully after a series of immigration raids last week. He blamed President Donald Trump for escalating tensions by deploying the National Guard and U.S. Marines.
Democracy is under assault before our eyes. This moment we have feared has arrived. He's taking a wrecking ball to our founding fathers' historic project. 3 co-equal branches of independent government. There are no longer any checks and balances. Congress is nowhere to be found. Speaker Johnson has completely abdicated that responsibility.
Russia announces a new round of talks with the United States, this time in Moscow. Russian ambassador to the U.S. Alexander Darchev says the discussions aim to ease ongoing tensions and resolve diplomatic hurdles between the two countries. He described the decision as preliminary but stressed the importance of moving forward. Recent talks in Istanbul focused on normalizing embassy operations, banking services and easing visa restrictions for diplomats. Despite progress, Darchev acknowledged that deep divisions remain, citing opposition from Washington's deep state and hawks in Congress. The next meeting is expected soon in Moscow, signaling a cautious step toward improving strained relations. President Donald Trump announces a major breakthrough in the U.S.-China trade talks, declaring the deal done pending final approval from both him and President Xi Jinping. Trump says the agreement guarantees U.S. access to critical Chinese rare earth minerals and magnets, key components for technology and defense industries. In return, China will continue sending students to American colleges and universities. Trump also highlights a significant tariff arrangement. The U.S. will maintain a 55% tariff, while China's will be set at 10%. He calls the bilateral relationship excellent, a sharp contrast to his earlier comments describing negotiations as not easy. Iran threatens U.S. bases across the Middle East, warning of massive escalation if conflict breaks out. A new missile test shows a 2-ton warhead as tensions escalate. In Ukraine, deadly drone strikes hit Kharkiv, killing 3 and wounding dozens, including children. Odessa also under attack, while Russia reports intercepting 32 drones and battles fire at a major munition plant. And in Baku, regional powers prepare for joint military drills. Azerbaijan hosts defense officials from Turkey, Pakistan and Central Asia ahead of Eternal Brotherhood 4th. Details in our full report.
Iranian Minister of Defense Aziz Nasser-Sadeh has stated that in the event of a conflict with the U.S., the Islamic Republic will strike all American bases in the Middle East. Last week, we tested a missile with a 2-ton warhead. If a conflict is imposed on us, the other side's losses will certainly be greater, and the U.S. will be forced to leave the region, he said. In Kharkiv, at least 3 people were killed and 60 were injured, including 8 children, as a result of a Russian drone attack. According to the administration, the city was attacked by 17 Shahed-type drones. High-rise residential buildings, enterprises, and civilian infrastructure were damaged. The Odessa region was also attacked, causing destruction. The Russian side reports that its air defense forces shot down 32 attack drones overnight. In the Kursk region, 3 children were injured. A fire broke out at the Tambov gunpowder factory, accompanied by 15 explosions. This is the 4th time Ukrainians have attacked the factory, which is one of Russia's largest producers of gunpowder for propellant and artillery ammunition. A planning conference for the Boundless Brotherhood for Multinational Exercises was held in Baku. The exercises will take place in September in Azerbaijan with the participation of special forces units from Azerbaijan, Turkey, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, and Pakistan. The Ministry of Defense of Azerbaijan reported that during the conference, representatives from the special forces units of the participating countries discussed the course of the exercises and organizational issues. They planned in detail the practical phase of the exercises and the tasks to be performed under various scenarios.
In a significant step under the Istanbul Agreement, Russia and Ukraine have begun exchanging the bodies of fallen soldiers. On June 11, Russian negotiator Medinsky confirmed that Ukraine has received the remains of 1,212 of its servicemen, while 27 Russian soldiers' bodies were returned to Moscow. A rare rebuke from key Western allies, the UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand and Norway have imposed sanctions on 2 far-right Israeli ministers, accusing them of inciting extremist violence against Palestinians and the New West. Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich and National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir now face possible travel bans and asset freezes. The 5 nations say the ministers' rhetoric has fueled settler violence and undermined hopes to peace. Officials stress the sanctions target individuals, not the Israeli state. Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić is set to make his first-ever visit to Ukraine this Wednesday. Vučić will participate in the Ukraine Southern Europe Summit in Odessa during a 1-day trip, signaling a possible shift in Serbia's stance on Russia's invasion. While Serbia has officially maintained neutrality, Vučić's recent appearance at Russia's Victory Day parade drew criticism from Brussels, complicating Serbia's EU membership hopes. European officials see Vučić's Ukraine visit as a move toward closer alignment with the European Union on the ongoing conflict. Shock and sorrow in Austria after a deadly school shooting in Graz left 10 people dead, including students. Authorities say the 20-year-old gunman legally owned both weapons used in the attack, a Glock pistol and a shotgun. Reports indicate he purchased one weapon just days before the shooting after passing a mandatory psychological evaluation. Austria, with about 1.5 million registered farmers among a population of just over 9 million, has more permission gun laws compared to much of Europe, raising urgent questions about gun control and public safety. In Yerevan, Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan welcomed Council of Europe's Secretary General Alain Berset on an official visit, praising the Council's ongoing support for democracy, human rights and the rule of law in Armenia. Pashinyan thanked the Council of Europe for backing democratic reforms in the country, calling the partnership essential for Armenia's progress. Secretary General Berset reaffirmed the Council's commitment to working closely with the Armenian government and supporting initiatives to strengthen democratic institutions and protect human rights. He also congratulated Armenia on being selected to host both the European Political Community Summit and COP18 in 2026, calling it a sign of the nation's rising international profile. For more updates, follow us on YouTube, Telegram, Instagram, X and Facebook. Daily news and full coverage are available on our official website. This segment was presented by Sona Tumanian. Goodbye.